package. So we get to go every other playoff game, which has been pretty cool. So, and of course, with the first round, every round the ticket price increases.
I'm going to ask about that. Yeah. How are these looking for you?
These are, compared to what everybody else is paying, it's a really good bargain. I mean, it's more than any other ticket obviously we paid for this year. But like our tickets are like in the 224 area, 225, like, kind of midway up high, still has good seats, but we're paying roughly $100, $150 a piece.
Dude, so, that's amazing.
It was like, well, it's kind of a no brainer. I'm like, me and my buddy, we could sell this, but when's the next time? Like, it's already been 25 years. I don't want to wait another 25. So we're going to this game. So, yeah, man, it's I haven't even looked at the aftermarket. I've heard what they were going for, and wow.
The cheapest on Ticketmaster today, I think, was $800 to get in the door. So, I mean, if you got some house stuff you need to do, maybe, but I kind of agree with you. You might as well. When are you going to ever say you went to the NBA Finals?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be full members next year, so we'll have access to all the games. So that means that something will happen, and there will be no playoff run like.
Yeah, correct. For sure. So, Dax, tell me a little bit. I guess Chris, can you imagine being in that arena on Friday? I mean, what is that going to look like?
Oh, if we thought it was loud and raucous and rambunctious last night, it's going to be double that on Friday. I have a feeling. I think it's just going to be absolutely insane nuts on Friday.
Dax is so pumped about it. He's frozen in time right now, so we'll figure that out. There he is. There's Dax. So yeah. What are your expectations tomorrow? When are you? How early you're going to get there? You're going to go out beforehand? Talk to me a little bit. This is exciting.
Well, it's going to be kind of tricky. There's a lot of stuff going in Indy tomorrow. One of my favorite.
There's like five huge events going on in Indy tomorrow, right?
Yes, and like one of my favorite events is the annual Italian Fest in our neighborhood, the Holy Rosary area. And so it's weather permitting. Well, they're not weather permitting. It's going to rain supposedly, but yeah, they're having a Pacers watch party. They're a hashtag pasta and Pacers as they're throwing it out there.
As one would.
So yeah, we're hopefully the idea is to maybe go over there, get some manicotti and some good Italian stuff, and then walk over to the game. But I want to get there early. I want to see all the hype. I want to live it up. And I know they're doing like a soft ticket flash, like just to get like on the block supposedly. And yeah, they're having like a watch party. 1,200 people or something for a watch party outside, and it's gonna be a lot of stuff, man. But yeah, I want to get there early. I want to take in all the sights and just live it up.
Yeah, there's concerts. There's an Indians game. The Zoo's got something going on. But Rod, we need to talk about that jersey you're wearing right now, because how are we going to get Larry Legend here? How is this going to happen? Can you call him? I know you're from Indiana. You've got the jersey, big Celtics guy. You have any connections there with Larry Legend?
Well, if Rod Morgan Sr., beloved Rod Morgan Sr. was still around, perhaps we might have an in, because Rod Morgan Sr. attended Indiana State at the same time as Larry and was in his purview occasionally, and at one time actually had a way of contacting Larry. So maybe if Rod Morgan Sr. was around, but unfortunately he passed a few years back. So I don't think I can contact Larry directly. But Larry loves everything, right? Like, he's not a curmudgeon at all. So he's totally locked in on sports podcasts, right? Especially incredibly niche sports podcasts like ours, right? So Larry, let me just plead to you here and now, okay? You were a Pacers coach. You were a Pacers executive. You are an Indiana luminary, okay? I can't survive with just Mike Epps and Rupert and some of the others that we're trying to throw down there on courtside, all right? It can't be just J.O. and Rick Smits. And
I was going to say Rick Smits. Right?
We got to have Reggie down there up front. I was happy to see Reggie there, happy to see him rocking the Mark Jackson jersey, and we need the legend in the building. He doesn't even have to let anybody know that he's there. Maybe we just flash up to him, right, between the second and the third quarter, coming out from halftime. We just like, oh, yeah, by the way, the legend is in the building, wearing his Indiana State 33 just like I am. Larry, let's go. Indiana wants it. do it for your Hoosier faithful.
Chris, are we going to get like a cardboard cutout, maybe in a dark room that they're going to go back to, or you think he's actually going to be there?
I just worried that Larry may hold it against me that we're asking this. I'll just say this, Larry. I'm sorry. It was 1974. It was a weird time in my life. I just wanted to apologize to you now. Don't hold that against us Pacer fans. Show up to the game on Friday.
Weird time in my life.
Yeah.
Weird time in your life, old man.
Yeah, it just so happened that you were coaching him back then. In 8th grade.
He was working as a garbage man at that time. Like, let's not. He was in a odd spot in his life too. All right, he just turned down IU, hadn't got to ISU yet. So, but Larry, I apologize. I know you hadn't heard that from me yet, but so now you have.
So
Listen,
Dax,
let's just clear something else up
Yeah.
here, Chris. Were you the one who was supposed to asphalt his mom's driveway and then backed out of the job, and Larry did it himself and messed up his back for the rest of his career? Are you responsible for this?
I am not responsible.
That is a statement that you just made.
That's all I can say about that.
Let's get on the court here, Dax. Through the first two games, Indiana Pacers led for 0.3 seconds and 1-1. How are you feeling coming into yesterday, and what do you think the Pacers can carry over to Game 4 that they were able to do in Game 3?
Well, I think it all kind of goes if you look at the Pacers, how they've done the playoff series, it almost takes them a couple games to kind of learn their opponent. I don't know if that's Carlisle kind of adjusting to things or what, but it seems like they go through some weird, awkward games, and once they kind of learn that by fourth game that comes in, it seems like they kind of, okay, now we kind of know what to do. So I am wondering if they can continue like the success they had yesterday. Obviously it's at home, it's going to be a ruckus environment, but I'm curious to see if they can still maintain that, and if they can, learn, keep the lessons they learned from the last game, if they can actually, use them again, like on Game 4. I mean, it seems like a lot of it seemed like they said conditioning. I don't know if I believe all that. All those guys are super duper conditioned, but yeah, I'm looking for them to pretty much just step up. I'm looking for them to take more of an assertive lead, honestly, through most of the quarters. That's going to be very tough because it is the best team in the NBA. So, I still am very, very sheepish on my like, oh yeah, we should just go out and blow them out and this and that. Like, no, they're still pretty good, and so it's very cautious optimism, I guess.
Yeah. The Dort 3 goes in. J Dub can hit any free throw. It could be a lot different. Rod, well, first of all, I'm interested to see if Carlisle's going to get a call from New York to maybe see if they can get him to go to New York as well, because everyone else had. But Rod, we had the McConnell and the Matherin game, kind of. Even Obi Toppin stepped up a little bit. Who do you think can step up in the next game, or are we going to just see a McConaissance where McConnell's just going to take over?
Listen, you know me. I love me some TJ McConnell. Excited to see a fella like him have an excellent NBA Finals game. First ever player off the bench in an NBA Finals game to get 10 points, 5 assists, and 5 steals in one game. Shout out to him. Benedict Mathurin is a stone cold gunner. That dude does not want to pass to anybody, and it actually kind of works on the Pacers because he's a little bit of a wild card. He's a little bit of a switch up from the beautiful game that the rest of the Pacers play. Like, that dude gets the ball and he's going to the hole. That's all there is to it. You better get to the corner and maybe Mathurin will pass it to you if somebody cuts him off. But other than that,
maybe
he's going to get his shot in. But Jimmy, my answer for who needs to step up is not somebody who's considered a role player. How about Miles Turner actually showing up on the offensive end of the court, making a couple 3-pointers, maybe making a few layups? That would actually help the Pacers. He had great defense in Game 3. Don't get me wrong there, but they could use a little more offense out of their almost all-star big man.
Chris, I think that they have mentioned that Miles Turner is sick, but he wasn't sick enough to play some really good defense. I didn't use the sick defense, but really good defense in that last quarter, especially the last few possessions.
His shots were all short, if you notice that. So it did seem like maybe he was a little bit weak on his shots, but you get mad and you got angry, and he played some angry-looking defense. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Chris, I know you know a lot of people in the pharmaceutical industry. Do you think you could possibly get someone to give him something to, make him feel better?
I'm pretty sure the Pacers have more ends in that regard than even I do.
I'm not talking about the anyway. They
Neither was
Pacers.
I.
And they neither were you. Dax, what's going to happen in Game 4? I mean, do you have a gut feeling?
God, I hate talking about this. It's like almost like
You're on the podcast, Dax. That's what we do. So thank you. Good guess.
I think the Pacers, they have to win. They have to win it. Like if you have to, since you've got them down, you have to keep going. And I would hope to think, like I said, like they learn from every series. I would hope to think that they have learned against a lot, Cleveland and the Knicks, when they've had opportunities to come back and they kind of let off. I would hope that they've learned to not take the foot off the gas, and just keep on going. So I think the Pacers are going to win. I think it's going to be a close game. I honestly think it's going to be a pretty similar game to last night. OKC is just that good. It's going to be a close. It's going to be a close game, man. I see the Pacers winning, but it's going to be close.
Rod, you kind of stepped on one of my questions, but I'm gonna go on it anyway. Benedict Mathurin, are you worried at all that his style of play might get into a little cockiness and he might do a little bit even more than he should be, and that could cost the Pacers?
No, I think you want Benedict Mathurin as an irrational confidence guy. I really do. I don't think that he brings you much else off of that bench. I mean, he's a solid enough defender, right? He's athletic. He can switch. He's kind of strong. He's kind of tall. You know what I mean? So he's a good switchable piece there on the wing. But if he's not coming in and getting you that 20 points and only 12 shots, right? Like that's he's not giving the Pacers what they really want from him, because I think Carlisle's proven himself to be such a good coach that he's not going to dispatch Mathurin, right? Because we saw Mathurin sit for a little while, right? He put Mathurin to the bench, so like he's not going to dispatch Mathurin unless he needs scoring punch. So I think he's actually a little bit buoyed by the fact that he just had this huge game. So I think he's going to be chucking up a few more 3-pointers, cutting to the basket even harder in Game 4, and that's probably good for the Pacers because they need that.
Chris, someone who we haven't mentioned yet this podcast is Pascal Siakam, the reigning, defending Eastern Conference MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Do you think that he is in a good place right now? Do you think that we can see a little bit more out of him? What are your thoughts on Pascal?
He is doing everything we need him to do. I mean, he is continuing to give us 20-plus points a game. You're close to double-digit rebounds. You're solid point of attack defense across all 5 positions, right? He is the most versatile player we got on the floor right now, and he has proven to be a matchup liability for OKC. And that's what we need him to do, and that's the great thing about this team, because we've talked about so many guys on this team. OKC cannot focus on 1 or 2 guys anymore. And we saw that late in the fourth quarter where they were off on defense and didn't know where they needed to go or who to not attack. I just hope that we can continue to push the pace tomorrow night like we did last night. If we can push the pace as much as we did, I think that benefits us immensely.
Yeah, Dax, you talked a little bit about. Oh, go ahead.
I got to push back against that a little bit, Jimmy. We had Pascal sitting for quite a bit of the fourth quarter in favor of Obi Toppin, and I think he only filled the stat sheets up because he had quite a few in the first quarter. So I'd like to see more of an actual let's get the ball to Pascal a few times in the fourth quarter, right?
But
I think
you got to give that up to Carlisle, though. Carlisle is going to stick with the rotations and the people that are performing well. Toppin had the best plus minus of any pacer in the game last night, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying sit Obi Toppin. I'm not saying sit Obi Toppin. And also Carlisle doesn't just play people who are good because he continues to play Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant is not good.
He got 3 minutes in last night. Let's not say he played.
3 too many. Three too many. For the 3 minutes that he was on the court, there was trouble.
Yeah, quick. Sure.
Dax, one of the things that SGA is one of those top things is he keeps his cool, he keeps his temper down. Is he going to punch Nembhard or not?
Oh no. He like you said, he is.
I love it. They've been friends since they were like 12 or whatever, which is only like 10 years. But anyway, I just love this.
That's the thing, man. It's kind of crazy. You got so many of those guys that were on Team Canada or played against. Or they're saying what Luke Ensdorf and Matherin played
yeah,
back in high school or something. Or I'm like, so like these guys, know each other so much. It's kind of cool because that they, especially being on Team Canada, because Nimhard was on Team Canada last year. He played right with SGA. He probably guarded SGA in practice all the time. So hey, that's kind of a. I'm not saying it's easy, but at least he has kind of an idea on, okay, this dude is going to do this and this and this and this. And I think that's really coming up big for him right now. But yeah, Nimhard will really tick you off. That's for sure, man. He's
Well, let's talk about this. I got a question for you guys. Isn't this good for the NBA? You have two real, like an MVP and then an all NBA type player leading these two respective teams that are both very likable, very marketable. Isn't this great for the NBA?
I think it's great that the games are a lot closer than we thought they would be because, everyone thought this was going to be 4-0, 4-1, whatever it was going to be. The fact that it's 2-1 Pacers, I think, is really good for the NBA because people might actually start caring about it and see that this is good basketball and they are really good teams. Rod, I know sometimes you have some thoughts on this.
The NBA suffers from a problem that we don't all really want to talk about, right? And right here and now is maybe not the greatest forum for it, but like the NBA is the second most popular league in America by far, right? Nothing's ever going to surpass football, but the NBA is the second most popular. But there's a divide in that popularity, right? The NBA is popular on social. The NBA is popular to drive podcasts and to drive programming where people talk about sports, right? But people don't actually sit down and watch NBA games all that much, right? You see way more engagement with the NBA's social highlight channels. You see way more engagement with daily fantasy plays and parlays and things of that nature. And people don't actually watch the games, and that's bore out right now by the terrible ratings talk. And I don't want to start that. Miss me with ratings talk. We're all basketball fans here. We could care less what the ratings are about. But I worry actually about what Chris said. I love where he's going, but I'm not entirely sure how marketable Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is because he doesn't want to give you anything. And the America we live in right now is authenticity. And that's why a guy like Tyrese, who does the Major League dance and does the Reggie Miller choke and will show up at WWE programming, he's a little more marketable, in my opinion, than Shai, who doesn't want to say anything ever.
All right. Question. Is tomorrow the last game this season in Indianapolis? Chris?
Yeah, no, because
okay, I'm asking questions.
Game 6 comes back, right? We're guaranteed Game 6.
Well, if we need Game 6.
That's what Jimmy's asking.
That's what I'm asking.
Pacers are going to win 2.
Are they going to win the next 2 games?
That's how defeatist I am. I assume I was like wait, OKC can't win it in less than 6.
What are you talking about, Jim? It has to be a Game 6. All right, so you think there will be another game in Indy. Rod?
I think this is going 7. So, yes, I think there definitely will be another game in Indy, and I think there will be another 3 games in Oklahoma City.
Gosh. Dax?
It has to go 6. I'm going with 6.
It has to go 6.
Building if it goes 6.
The Pacers have to get it in 6 or
Oh, you're not going to be in the building if it goes 6 though, right?
Well, no, that's probably my pocketbook's a little happy for that too. I mean, yeah, but
you'll be right outside, I bet.
Yeah.
It was basically right outside anyway.
That's true.
Wow. Yeah, I'm
excited for you, man. I'm excited, Dax. It's got to be awesome living down there for that, man.
It's cool. Really, yeah, it is really. It's been a thrill, man.
I don't think there'll be another game in Indy. I think they win tomorrow, and then OKC's just defeated. So
the Thunder are going to lose 3 games in a row. The Thunder are going to lose 3 games in a row in the NBA Finals.
They're 2-4 on the road in the playoffs. They're not good on the road in the playoffs. 2-4 is not a good record to have.
I'm not saying no. I'm just trying to help point out for the listeners what you are predicting here, Jimmy, that they were about to lose 3 games in a row. The team that
they looked awfully tired in the fourth quarter.
The Pacers have beat the Thunder more than any other Eastern Conference team this year. Combined, by the way. Combined. Times 2. They've doubled it. Yes, they've doubled the amount of wins. Yes.
If the series doesn't continue, Jimmy, we're not going to be able to. It'll be over before we have our next podcast.
So
That
okay,
would
so
be
for
a
our podcast, we don't want it to be over. We don't want the Pacers.
That's right.
That would be
Williams isn't ready to come
fantastic.
back yet.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, Dax, really appreciate you stopping by here. Thank you so much. Have a blast tomorrow. I just can't understand how awesome that's going to be. I was at Game 6 last year for Knicks Pacers, and that was just unbelievable. This is just going to be the shirts are going to be fun. I mean, you're going to get a shirt. You know that.
I've got a lot of shirts, way too many shirts this year. So my wife has stolen them all, so that's not a bad thing. But
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure being on here, and yeah, it's really cool. I don't have words to describe it yet. I'm still trying to take it all in.
Hey, before
All right.
Daxter goes, Jimmy, I'm telling you, sooner or later, Dax is going to be able to come on this podcast, and we're not going to have to let him go before wrestling. He's watching more and more wrestling, Jimmy. One of these days, we're going to be able to get Daxter on here for some wrestling takes.
I was gonna offer him the opportunity to stay, but I understand completely.
Yeah, I've been slacking, unfortunately, this with the Pacers here recently. No excuses, but yeah, I need to get back. I need to get back on. But yeah, it's been a couple weeks since I've watched. So.
All right. Well, you have been listening to the Fast Break on the More You Know's Podcasting Network. TMYK Live, the Yeah We Know podcast is up right now.
Thanks, Daxter.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Goodbye, Internet.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. Dax is here until he says exits out. Gentlemen, what a week in the world of the world. I mean, where do you start? I think we have to start with the biggest return of the week. Yes, she's back. Nikki Bella is back. Chris, your thoughts?
Who?
Okay, so this is an interesting spot here. Nikki Bella's been back a couple times over the past few years, but this is really a blind spot for both you and Rod. And I'm going to say it like this. Nikki Bella was the Divas champion as the Divas championship melded into the women's championship. Okay. So it was basically, she was that, still had the looks, but actually could do some stuff in the ring. Wasn't at the lead of Trish, but she was good in the ring and she was a decent champion. So that was that kind of transition over to allow the Charlottes and the Beckys and the Sashas and the Baileys and all those come in. So that's kind of where she was in this.
Is it good that I didn't watch any part of anything that had to do with the Diva Championship?
You know, as someone who believes women can do anything that they want to do, yeah, probably a good thing that you didn't watch that, because it was really a lot of bra and panties and mud matches and things like that. They've come a long way, Chris. Wouldn't you say, Rod?
I'd say it's not good that he missed out on Sable. That's what I would say.
You know, there was a run there that the Sable situation was, well, it was something to watch in our college years, Chris, in your late 50s. So that was pretty sweet there. I mean, where do you start? I think we have to start here.
That wasn't even the biggest women's return, Jimmy, and you know it. That wasn't even the biggest women's return.
No, that was my second. My second joke. My second joke was Asuka's coming back. Yes, let's go. I'm happy about it, but it was just a video package. Purple Bailey. Let's talk about it. I know there's so many other things to talk about. We're in the women's. We're going to talk about it. Purple-haired Bailey is back and destroying the man. Rod, your thoughts on purple-haired Bailey?
I like it. You give Bailey a gimmick like this, she's better than what she's been given over quite a while. She was probably better than the ending of the Damage Control, right? She was probably better for winning that belt at WrestleMania than she ever got run off of that for. So I don't understand if she's difficult to deal with in the back, if Hunter and her have a beef I don't understand what it is about her not getting great booking from Paul, but I was excited as heck to see her, and I thought she looked good, right? Becky can sometimes look weird, and I thought she looked good. The purple hair and the all-white outfit, I was here for it. Let's go.
I'm so excited because maybe it's just this knee injury took longer, you know, as far as getting in the ring and getting what she can do. Maybe it just took longer than anyone thought. And now, hopefully, you know, after getting some rest, because she was, vehemently, she was attacked okay, in the backstage area by the man Becky Lynch. That was ridiculous. I love that she's coming back, Chris. I love that she's going after Becky. And I think these two are going to have a pretty good feud over the Intercontinental Championship.
I'm going to say this. All right.
Oh, gosh.
I'm now a fan of Bayley.
Oh, good.
All right. Right. And for something that's rare for me, it's something that happened out of the ring, out in real life. She happened to go ahead and be in some Dimension 20 shows, and if you guys aren't aware, that's a D&D type show that some of us like to watch. But her and the New Day showed up. They were on Dimension 20, and that's going to make me a fan of you. So go Bayley. Beat Becky down. Take that title belt.
Okay, interesting. I did not think that that's where you were going to go on that. Rod, did you have D&D on your board today?
When he says D&D, does he mean Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
I think so. Okay, good.
All right. Well, hey, shout out to the New Day, right? Those guys love games, so I'm not all that surprised that they're into Dungeons and Dragons. And as I've said, Bayley before has looked way more weird than she's ever looked hot, so I'm also not surprised that she was into D&D. So good for Bayley, I guess, right? Get your name out there however you can.
Very, very excited to have Bayley back. Always been one of my favorites. So just really excited for that. And good luck with her and Becky in their feud. So Money in the Bank, main event. John Cena is going for the win. All of a sudden, someone all in black comes out, starts beating him up. And I believe the quote in our household was, "That's a black guy," because you could see R-Truth's ankles. Because Jackson's, "Hey, it's Randy Orton." He goes, "No, that's a black guy." They did it. They brought him back. They hurt everyone. Huge pop. I don't have any notes on the ending of this, especially Rod, because Cody Rhodes then pinned Cena as a result of this attack. Sometimes you see a kick out, something like that. I was really hoping that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it was nice to see close to an actual real finish in a John Cena match here.
We'll take it.
Right?
This counts.
Yeah, it was close, so we'll take that. But I must admit, I thought it was an Uso at first because there's been so many times where an Uso has been revealed to be somebody underneath a black hood like that. So I was like, why is Jimmy Uso in the ring? I guess he's not doing anything else. We could get him involved here. And then I was like, oh my God, they're bringing Truth back. That was absolutely fabulous. His hit on Monday Night Raw was absolutely fabulous. But Jimmy, I'm terrified. I'm terrified of what we're actually going to see here, right? Do we bring R-Truth back to make him a badass and actually be the one who beats John Cena? Or do we bring him back to just continue to be a bit of a sideshow for a few more weeks until the fans quiet down, right? Which is it going to be?
So, well, we know what Night of Champions main event is, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So R-Truth comes back, and he is now known as Ron Killings. And Ron Killings has been, that's what he was known as, and he did use the Truth thing, but never R-Truth. WWE changed his name so they could own it. I think it's a great idea on his end because this is not going to be a 5-10 year deal for Ron Killings. This is going to be a short-term deal. They brought him back. I do not think he's the one that's going to beat John Cena. I think that would get a huge Mick Foley type, I guess, fan outpour. But what do I always say? What do you do the next day? And what would you do with Ron Killings as your undisputed Universal, whatever it is, WWE champion? What would you do, Chris? I mean, I don't see where you'd go.
Lose the belt almost immediately to Seth freaking Rollins.
Well, and that is something you can because Seth Rollins is the Money in the Bank champion. And what bigger heat to take that moment away and give it to Rollins? Because I guarantee you, people aren't going to be cheering Rollins if he does that. Anytime, if he goes against Cena, if he goes against Gunther, people would cheer, Rod.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. So it's going to be interesting to see, right, what news was breaking today that we're working on a new theme for Seth Rollins. So clearly we're going to try to move away from the theme that everybody sings. So we're definitely going to try to have people. We're going to definitely try to make people start booing Seth Rollins. So I like Chris's thought there. We've been simpatico on some stuff. That's exactly how you do it. You let R-Truth beat Cena, so then technically he's the one that ended the Cena run, but then you get the belt right off of him, and you get the heat right on Seth Rollins. I love that.
Yeah, and then in a couple years they can say former WWE champion comes back, and it's Ron Killings. It is. So R-Truth Ron will be using the. By the way, one of his shirts I think says Killings Spree. I don't know if I like that shirt. That's kind of interesting in the times we live in. But okay, go right ahead with that. But he cut his hair.
He should have a shirt that's just he should have a shirt that's just cut braids, Jimmy, right? Like it's just the cut braids like stacked up against one another like a weird still art piece. That's what the shirt should be. That
could be millions. Cut his hair, and I think because he was getting a little bit of what chance in there because people weren't really sure if he was still like goofy or not. And then he cut his hair and people just like lost it. That was crazy.
We got to stop with the what chance. I'm just going to say it one more time. We got to stop with the one
as a society. I think that's the number one thing in society we need to stop is the what chance. Not just wrestling, just everything. Because it is so old. Well, top 5. Anyway.
Let's get 47 on that. Let's get 47 on that. Stop worrying about all the other stuff he's worrying about and get him on that, Jimmy. Do something good for society.
I tell you
what, it may be on his list.
I would love it if he got what chance during one of his little speeches. Like, give me that little video clip.
They can't hear me. What's going on? Why do they keep saying what? They can't hear me.
I'm the best to ever do it. What? Everybody says I'm great. What? Yes, I would love every second of that.
Oh, goodness gracious. The Yeah We Know political podcast coming, not really coming at all ever. Okay, so Money in the Bank itself. We had Seth Rollins winning, which is kind of the only person that I thought that was a really good match. I was so excited for LA Knight once or twice in there, but I think the right person did end up winning, Rod.
Yeah, I think that Seth had to win if you weren't going to have Roman come back, and clearly we didn't have Roman come back, so I think you're right. It had to be Seth.
Chris, you like the match?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. It was exciting. There was a brief moment or two where I thought they were going to give it to El Grande Americano.
Yeah, you never know, really. Penta had a good match,
that
too.
Spot was awesome,
Penta stepped up.
That spot was awesome.
It was, the slingshot to the ladder by LA Knight and Gable wasn't the best looking ever, but after that, it was perfect.
No. Yeah.
And now, in their defense,
Seth Rollins was holding the ladder.
Yeah, well, in their defense, though, they had zero room to do that spot. There was LA Knight had to sit down because if not, he would have hit himself on the post. I thought overall, I think everyone did a great job.
Though. Did you guys remember that game Mousetrap back in the day when you were a kid? That's totally what I thought when Grande got up to the top of the ring post and then got on the ladder and then it pushed over to the other ladder and Seth Rollins was holding it down at the bottom and then he climbed up. I was like, this is like Mousetrap.
So we're about 20 minutes in, maybe 15-ish. And we haven't mentioned, there's so many things that happen on this show that have all been built up. And the fact that we haven't said once, I hate you Solo, or Rod, doesn't have his name being I hate whomever. Solo Sikoa had a good matchup, but Jacob Fatu turns on Solo. We've got that coming up now as a feud. Chris, I thought that was done very well as well.
Yeah, but that was really telegraphed. We
of course it was.
Coming, right? So to me, it's a slow build-up. And you know how I feel about the Bloodline. I don't like them, right? If they're splitting up, good. That's about all I care about.
You really hate. I love the fact that you can have so many all kidding aside, you have a lot of good insights on things and I love your perspective, but the Bloodline is like, I don't like them. Let's move on. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that, Chris. Rod, thoughts on the Solo Fatu matchup coming forward? Because this is something, Rod, is this going to help Solo?
Solo, the path forward was open for him during that match, Jimmy, because I'm sure you clocked this. Chris maybe didn't clock this as much because his eyes are so blinded to anything Bloodline. But Solo basically did every single other person in that match's taunt at one point or another during that, right? So maybe the lane for Solo to be the new comedic wrestler is open there for him, right? Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, be the one guy who doesn't get pissed off on a revenge tour when he gets bounced out of the Bloodline by Fatu. Be the guy that just says, all right, you know what? This is cool. This is less pressure. I'm just going to go have a good time. I'm going to get back to what I love, which is wrestling and cracking on people. Why not? I'd watch it.
This huge badass is just like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. You know, you know what? I was kind of a jerk. My bad. I'm just going to go have fun. Chris, thoughts?
It'd be different. It'd be different.
And give him a chance because Fatu is just going straight to the top.
Right. Well, all gas, isn't that what Fatu's little thing is? So I don't know. If that may make me actually like pay attention to Solo a little bit more if he distances himself from that bloodline persona, doesn't worry about the pepper necklace or any of that. Like maybe I'll get more behind him if he's more the comedic angle.
And then we have Naomi getting the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. You know, I was kind of with it. I mean, there's definitely some places they can go. Naomi hasn't been someone they've been focusing on a lot. I'm excited to see. Hopefully, they're going to be able to do something. But Rod, this left me a little
I get that, but I must say I was excited that they didn't strap the rocket ship onto one of the 3 NXT people who were just automatically thrown up into this match. I mean, as much as I like all 3 of those women and think they are exciting future prospects, I don't know that any of them needed the briefcase at this moment. So then I think it would have been cheap if you give it to Rhea, right? I mean, like Rhea's just queen badass, and then you give it Seth and Rhea win, right? That seems kind of boring. So they kind of were painted into a corner, and it almost had to be Naomi. So I didn't have a problem with it.
Chris.
I don't like it, right? Like I'm not sure what the long-term goal, why the push for Naomi. Has she been getting a lot of extra loud pops that I'm not aware of, that I haven't seen, right? Is the crowd reacting to her? I don't think she's all that great on the mic, really. So I don't see why the push and why you put the Money in Bank in her hands, which means you're going to be pushing her on TV a whole lot more. And I can understand where Rod's coming from with Rhea. Like, I get that. That would be a little bit boring. I don't want to give it to the NXT. I still would have wanted to get on Alexa Bliss, somebody the fans actually can get behind, somebody that you want on TV more, in my opinion, somebody that's going to get those loud pops, and that you can really create a story with just about anybody because she hasn't been on TV for a while.
Here's all I worry about with Alexa Bliss, though, Jimmy, is she on a bit of a part-timer's contract at this moment, right? Like, we haven't seen her that much, you know what I mean? Which is fine, right? I don't begrudge anybody. You don't want to wrestle all the time and beat your body up. You don't have to. But I just worry with Alexa that she's not going to be around because she hasn't been around, right? We all remember the huge pop at the Rumble, and we've seen her like twice.
Yeah, I do. You know, my gimmick is the Charlotte Flair stuff. But really, if any one of us, if our employers came to us and said, "Hey, we're going to give you $3 million this year, and I only need you to come to work 23 times," are you going to come a 24th? No. Anyone would do that. So I think that's, Chris, the reason why they probably didn't give it to her. And I agree with you with the NXT because you don't want to go too fast. I will say that Stephanie McCurr, Devil's Kiss on Rhea Ripley on the ladder was amazing. And I think that's going to be a really good feud someday going forward. The Naomi thing I do see, though, is this the first one that doesn't cash in because Jade Cargill steps in to stop it, or Bianca steps in to stop it? Because we've got that feud and that whole triangle thing still going. So I think that's where they're going to go with this, and it just kind of just depends on how long they want to go with it. Are they going to go to SummerSlam? What are they going to do?
That's good insight from you there, Jimmy, because you're right. We're still batting 1,000% on the women's Money in the Bank, right? They've had a man fail a couple of times, but a woman has never failed. So maybe Naomi was given the briefcase to be the first one to fail. So then it's not 100% anymore. That's a good call by you. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah, that would make me interested then. If she was the one to win it so she could be the first one to fail, good.
Yep. The Rhodes and Uso and Cena and Logan Paul match for me was fine. There was a couple of really good outside the ring moves that were good. But it's funny because I was like, oh, this is a good match. It's going okay. But as soon as the R-Truth happened, nothing happened before that to me. And then Cena gets pinned 1, 2, 3 by Cody Rhodes, which generally sets up a matchup later. But we're going to talk about that. That's not going to happen, Rod. It's not going to happen the next match.
No, and I don't want to. I don't want to get too far away from this match either and not give huge credit to Logan Paul. Once again, that springboard moonsault was just an insane spot that he did there out of nowhere. Again, that guy. And then, I mean, let's not forget going from the top rope, moonsaulting again over to the announce desk. That was insanity. So the guy just continues to do great moves. People boo the hell out of him because they don't want to like him, and all the wrestlers call him a YouTuber because he had to, he didn't go the Ohio Valley Wrestling or down south wrestling. But, the guy, he does what you want to see on TV. I continue to somewhat sing his praises when we talk about him here on the podcast, because if we want somebody that's charismatic on the mic and can do cool athletic shit, Logan Paul does all of those things. I'm sorry if you don't like his podcast or his YouTube channel.
Yeah, Chris, you're an old school wrestling guy. You big Logan Paul fan?
No, he's a jackass.
All righty then.
He's just out there to get views. I mean, that's why he puts the drone in his hand and does.
But that was cool. Something you've never seen before, though.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Especially when the drone got destroyed. That was awesome.
Right. I will say, I thought for sure they had
waiting on this.
I thought they had a better route if they were to give Logan or get Logan and Jay in a matchup, and Logan get the belt from Jay, so Logan and Cena could have the belt for this period of time and really make people think that wrestling is ruined.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we talked about that last week. That was a very good idea that they did not listen to. We've got to give a shout out though to Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, again having a very solid match. I love those two together. Obviously, we're going to go in a different direction with Becky now, and Lyra needs to kind of find that next opponent. But I think Lyra's had a very, very solid start to her career at the main roster, Rod.
She's coming along, right? She's coming along. I like that match an awful lot. She can definitely wrestle inside the ring. I will give her credit for that. And I think that she has made a marked improvement on her promos as well. The first couple of promos she was cutting with Becky at the beginning of this feud were not nearly as good as what they morphed into at the end there. I think they found a little bit more of what she's about. So I'm excited for that. That's something that I'm not against for sure. And I also think it's great that we gave Becky the IC title, because that's another, we like to talk about resume building from time to time, but that just, she gets to call herself another bit of a grand champion, right? Which just makes her seem all that much more impressive. So I liked it. And then you said we're going to have a Bayley Becky brawl that's going to make the IC women's title look that much cooler as well. So I think all good things right now on the women's Intercontinental title front.
And then just kind of random, Dominic Mysterio retained his Intercontinental Championship by defeating Octagon Jr. in a pretty fun, matchup that we didn't expect. Did either of you watch any of When Worlds Collide? No,
I did not, but
No.
I did see plenty of Iguana clips because
Mr. Iguana, yeah, and Psycho Clown. Yeah, I just watched a little bit of the main event there with our boy Chad Gable. But overall, a good show for sure. We're like 30 minutes into our show, and we haven't even chatted about the World Championship that got Gunther won. He defeated Jey Uso in the main event of Raw, and a 3-month title reign is something that I think we need to see not more of, but every now and then, because having all these belts on people for so long does get a little stale. I do like that Gunther, got it back. Is Jey Uso now going to have a rematch for that, or are we going to go in a completely different direction? I don't know, Chris.
Yeah, there'll be a rematch, right? It'll be a best of 3. That's what it'll have to be. But I think Gunther will retain it still, right?
Yeah, Rod, are you excited because is Gunther going to be a good guy now because Rollins is the bad guy? Is that where we're going here?
What if I throw a curveball at you, Jimmy?
Uh-oh.
What if I say that Gunther morphs into a bit of a storyline with John Cena here? Because John Cena and Gunther are kind of about the same things right now. Gunther doesn't care about the WWE championships. The ring is sacred. Cena's the last real champion. Like, what about that?
What about Gunther saying, I am the real champion, you are not, and go back and forth there?
No, they start appearing together a little bit.
Oh.
Right? Like Gunther and Cena start appearing together a little bit, kind of the way that we thought Logan Paul and John Cena might appear together. We get Gunther roped in with them because of because of some of their similar stuff there. I think, I don't know, just something that popped into my head, right? When Gunther had his little hit after the show about how nobody was in the back to congratulate him, you know what I mean?
That was funny. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he's not here to make friends and all that, right?
Where's my picture with Triple H?
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought that would be cool. And then as far as Jey Uso, Jimmy, I can't believe you haven't mentioned it here. I think somebody's going to be getting checked into the Uso penitentiary. No, like we're going to see Jimmy and Jay reunite and do a tag team run. Are we not?
Yeah, I think so. People are going to yeet, and we talked about this last week. People are going to yeet either way. If he's got the belt or not. Why not rub off a little bit on your brother? Maybe go for a tag team title against the tag team champions, who of course are exactly. So maybe bring those in a little bit more. For sure. I think that could easily happen. Chris, would you like to see a reunited Usos?
No, he hates the bloodline.
Yeah, right.
They're not the bloodline. It's the Usos, not the bloodline. The Usos.
I mean, maybe if there's no more. I mean, maybe. But, like, they got to lay off on the super kicks as well, all right? There's just way too many.
Well, that ain't going to happen, Skippy. Sorry.
Right, so it seems like they got a super kick and the spear, and that's about it. I don't know what else they really do.
Hey, world champion for Jimmy, 3 months.
I might have to take that back now because I just thought your little joke about the tag team champions, the New Day are tag team champions, and I don't know that I need to see
the Street Profits
the New Day fighting for the 25th time.
I don't know. And then finally, before we go, we have our main event for Night of Champions, and of course, it has to be in Saudi Arabia. First of all, we have King and Queen of the Ring. Whatever, they never do anything with it. It'll be good matches on TV. But John Cena and CM Punk are going to go one-on-one in Saudi Arabia, and I love the fact that Cena called Punk out and said, hey, you want it? You got to go to Saudi Arabia, even though you said to Mike the Miz, you go for your blood money when he was in AEW and Miz was in WWE. If you want it that bad, you got to go to Saudi Arabia. It kind of makes sense there, Rod.
Can I ask you another question real quick? Have we already dispatched with champion versus champion to get the even gaudier diamond encrusted belt? Have we already done away with that? Like, didn't Nia Jax and Gunther win those belts last year?
I guess, it's not canon. Saudi Arabia is not canon. Never happened. Shawn Michaels.
Saudi Arabia also excited to see that we're not going to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania, which I thought we were. I don't know why we have to double down on Vegas immediately 2 years in a row, but at least it's not New Orleans losing it for Saudi Arabia. I'm at least happy about that.
So from what I've heard on that is Vegas is really struggling with tourism because and again, this is not the we know political corner, but there's not as many international visitors as there have been in the past. So Vegas is really hurting there. They actually have a huge conference, the National Association of Broadcasters, there next year. So they had to move a lot of stuff around as far as hotel rooms and things. But I think they can charge more. And they're getting people there. So I think Vegas just kind of gave them anything they wanted. Very odd, though. And obviously TKO's home base is Las Vegas. Chris, Punk and Cena or the Vegas thing?
I got to circle back here.
Let's go. Williams coming back in a couple weeks.
The winner of the King and Queen of the Ring get a title match this year. They announced that.
So I missed that. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yep, they announced that.
They had that last year. They had that last year.
Well, they announced it again this year. So
that's right. Yeah,
there is a something to actually strive for and a bonus for winning this. Past that, like, okay, Punk, great. Give me something else for me to root for you to get destroyed and lose in Saudi Arabia. We know you're not going to beat Cena. Something will happen. Truth will come back, or the whole truth will come and interfere or make it so something doesn't happen. But you won't beat Cena. You won't get anything. Roman coming back.
Oh, the Saudis are going to pay big money to get Roman there. Are you kidding me? And Roman's not going to miss out on that payday.
That is true. You can say no so often, but it's like, I'm sorry, $10 million? Just fly back and then just. Okay.
Just think every time we've had a Saudi show, Roman's been there, right? And we give Roman so much crap for not being around. You guys give him more crap than I do because I understand, like you said, Jimmy, it's fine. He can show up as often as he wants to. But every Saudi show, Roman is there.
What a week. What a time to be a wrestling fan. There's so much good stuff going on. Very excited to move on into this next, like the summer usually is little dull, little doldrums. We're rocking right now, boys. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan, Chris.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we got the final ride or the last ride or whatever Cena's calling this, right? Like this year is nothing but still up in the air.
I believe it's
The
the
final
last time
ride.
is now. The last time is now. The final ride is The Undertaker.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcast network. In the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod.
El Grande Americano, you are awesome.
Good night, net. Yeah.
Good night.
It worked.